putting all these pieces together from our conversation here. The wow. So you have this medium background, this always you've had this intuition since you were a kid, always been able to connect, right?
Yeah.
And then when you started listening to that, how scary was it to start listening to that in a quote unquote professional side, in more of a,
Mhm.
hey, this is where a business is, this is where
Yeah.
money is, and to let go of the I need to control everything,
Yeah.
and be more of that channel? What was that step like?
The most freeing thing I've ever done.
Really? Okay. You have to talk to me. I'm intrigued.
Okay. So, you know, most of my life I knew I was weird. Okay.
Totally, I
And
get it.
I tried to hide it. I tried to hide my gifts. I tried to hide my weirdness. And for a long time with my clients, like I would do all of my magical, spiritual stuff behind the scenes. And then to finally just own it. It's like, I'm just a medium. Like, I'm weird as shit. But if you dance with me, holy hell, your
Yeah.
life is going to change. And not only like, and I say this in like full humility because it's not me, but when people work with me, their gifts wake up. So it's like, hey, if you want to deepen your gifts, if you want to deepen your ability to be a vessel, like just play with me. And and if people are willing to go all the way weird, shit happens. So, most freeing thing I've ever done is owning my gifts.
Wow.
Yeah.
It okay. Was it like less of a dramatic step because you were already doing that behind the scenes and you just started being more uh open or authentic about it? Um,
Well, for years, I would say the religion is why I hid. So,
Interesting.
it was like, mm, it was like I was a certain shape and I kept trying to make myself fit into uh I was a shape. My being is like way bigger than the shape I was, but I kept trying to like tuck it in and tighten it in, like keep. I know you can keep fit. It's like keep fitting in these
Yeah.
jeans, Kira. I know you can fit in these jeans, right? It's like that kind
Yeah.
of energy. Like I know you can fit in this shape, and then there was just this moment where I was like, I can't go back. I can't keep. It was like I would expand and expand, and then I'd be like, okay, come back and be this like perfect Mormon mom of 5 kids and be this wife. And that was so painful to always be tucking back in, tucking back in. So when I like burned everything and it was like, fuck all the rules and all the things that say I have to look a certain way to have 5 kids. I have to be this wife. I have to be these ways. Like, fuck it all. I am this, which has no shape. So, like, I feel like I fully owned my gifts 9 months ago. I've been using my gifts for years, but it was like I had to burn everything to just be like, this is who I am. And to never have to tuck back in, never have to fit myself into any other shape again has been the greatest joy I've ever felt.
That is actually one of the questions I had written down from earlier, and we just didn't get to. But it was, there seemed to be some connection. Correct me if I'm right or wrong here. Between you trying to fit yourself, you said, okay, I lost my religion, I gave up, it broke, but I'm still going to church, I'm still trying to
Yeah.
fit into this because you don't want to lose that for the kids. But when you do, which I understand, when you do that, there's also that inauthenticity that
Yeah.
comes. There's that trying to force yourself to fit into something that you're not. And
Yeah.
then in my mind, there seemed to be a disconnect from that behavior and then from everything that you are now. And I was going to ask you
Right.
about that disconnect. And it seems
Yeah.
like that was it when you were able to say, okay, cool, never again. Like I'm not going to try and fit that
Yeah.
moment when you stepped out. You're like, this is who I am. I'm not ashamed of this. I'm not trying to hide it. This is who I am.
Yeah.
I'm fully embracing it. That's when everything started to fall into place, but also when these floodgates of creativity and flow, these
Mm.
things just start pouring through you. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because like the business was working, right? Like it was like I was really successful in business. I was helping people, but it was one day when I realized I only liked business Kira. Like
Oh, ooh,
I only like business Kira. I only
oh,
like this is the only one I like. I don't like wife Kira and I don't like mother Kira and I don't like
yeah,
church Kira and the truth is business Kira actually is just who I really am. Like it was because I could be a medium and I could share my gifts and I could be all of me. And that's when I realized I am out and it was interesting because I spoke on stage with Glennon Doyle, which was like the biggest, pinnacle of my career. Like, oh my gosh, I'm on stage with Glennon Doyle. And, it was just this huge
yeah.
thing. And from the stage, I channeled. So I had two people come up on stage in front of this huge audience. I channeled with two people their books. And it was like I stamped my ground. And my marriage ended 3 days later. And it was like, my soul was like, you don't go back in. And I wouldn't say the last 9 months have been easy because I had to get my own house and I didn't even own a fork. So like 20 years of a life that I could pack into one car and to build a home for my 5 kids when I didn't even own a fork. Like, yeah, the 9 months that I've been out has not been like a walk in the park. And yet, it has been the most self expressed freedom I've had in my whole life because there is, I am only this always.
How freeing. What an example to the kids, too. Be like, this, even when life, even when society and logic may say, okay, you shouldn't do this. This is a bad idea. Everything seems to be going against you. You make that choice, be authentic in who you are, and to live out who you are. What an inspiration for your kids.
I hope so. It doesn't feel like that quite yet. But I do know that they watch and that I am a holy hell yes that they fight for their dreams. So I have an 18-year-old and he's a musician
My
and
kind
he's
of guy.
extraordinary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come on.
he's actually extraordinary. He's a singer, he's a songwriter, he's a producer, he plays guitar, piano. He's brilliant.
Amazing.
And we live in this small town in Idaho and he graduated high school and as it was coming up to graduation, I was like, you're not staying here. Like there's no music here and we're not going to wait 3 years for you to see if you're going to become a musician. So you're going to get the hell out of Idaho. And I, in all of the magic of working with my angels and pulled some strings and I got him a gig with my brother's help of him selling pest control in Nashville.
Okay. Love it.
so that he can make money this summer and also start to get into the music scene. And anytime that he would doubt, which a lot of doubt comes up from musicians and artists, is I would
Yeah.
just look at him in the eyes and be like, you've watched me build what I've built from nothing. You've watched me do what I've done from nothing. You can do this. And that's like my greatest gift as a mother.
Come on. I'm getting so much chills. As a musician, as a touring, recording musician for a decade, um, hearing your story, hearing this clincher, it's actually right behind me is an old drum head I used to have from a band. Um, Still have the tattoo, the logo of the band that I was in,
I
tattooed
love
on me.
it. I love it.
That that means so much. That you would take that step and say, okay, you've watched me build what I've built. It's your turn. You can do this.
Yeah. And and the business mom inside